Hey everybody, it's Justin here to review Batman starring Michael Keaton and directed by Tim Burton, and this is celebrating its 25th anniversary, and it was released June 23rd, 1989. That was a while ago, and I'll be celebrating its 25th anniversary by reviewing it with Daniel Mart. He'll be giving his thoughts on the movie at the end of this video. I'll put the link down to his channel. Go over to his channel, subscribe. Great channel, great videos. I'll put the link down below to his channel. Go over there and tell him Justin sent you. But Batman, directed by Tim Burton, starring Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson as the Joker, has its moments and doesn't have its moments. What I think is lacking is honestly a great story going for it. There's a lot of parts in this movie that I am bored throughout, and I'm just catching myself, dazing off, looking at other things, and just not catching my interest. So a lot of the storyline is dull, in my opinion, and just doesn't capture my attention. But what has going for it is Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton playing the Joker and Batman. They both play their parts really well, and I think that's what makes the movie so interesting. Some of the movies has some great visuals. It looks very dark, but for 1989, Gotham, I really like how Gotham looks in here. When I imagine Gotham, I think of a torn up town, a city, and very dirty, gritty looking. The streets are just rampant with people running through around everywhere, murder and a lot of sirens. And I think that Tim Burton did a great job on capturing Gotham City, taking the comics style, but also adding his own like nightmarish version. I think Danny Elfman did a great job with the soundtrack. Um, and it's a really great soundtrack for this actually. But I just think the storytelling was weak. But the characters were fascinating. I just think that some parts were just really boring. But it's a fun movie to watch. Parts of it are really boring, like I said. But Tim Burton has his own style, and his music goes along with it. And so for his style, it's really well. But for a Batman film, I think that it works. But some also the storyline and the writing just was weak, for my opinion.
Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm going to be reviewing Batman, the original Batman from 1989, alongside Justin Watches Movies. So yeah, before I actually start the review, I want to first thank Justin Watches Movies for giving me the opportunity to do a collaboration video with him, helping me get out there. So yeah, thank you first off, Justin. I'm a huge fan of you and your channel, and you're one of the few channels who actually inspired me to make my own YouTube channel. So I also want to thank you for that. So now that I got all that out of the way, I'm gonna start my portion of the actual review. So yeah, this is the Batman 1989 version. Um, and me and Justin are doing the review for the 25th anniversary. This movie stars Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, Kim Basinger, and Robert Wool. Wool, I think that's how you say his name. Um, and basically, this is the first not reincarnation, but the first live action movie version of Batman. So yeah, usually how I would do this in my channel is that I would give a 10-second spoiler warning, then give synopsis, the likes and dislikes, and then the rate. But due to the way that I'm doing this with the collaboration, I'm gonna skip the 10-second spoiler warning, so skip over that. But now, and I assume that Justin is also gonna do a quick synopsis type of thing. But I'm gonna give my version of the quick synopsis. It's gonna be very short. So and then the likes and dislikes and then the rates, and that's actually gonna be my part of the review. Um, so yeah, but basically to give a quick synopsis of sorts, this is the first Batman movie. You have Michael Keaton portraying Batman, and basically you have the Joker portrayed by Jack Nicholson, one of my favorite actors, and basically they're basically going against each other, seeing who's gonna take control of Gotham to an extent, because Joker wants to basically take over Gotham, and Batman, is trying to protect Gotham. He's being a vigilante. Um, so he's basically protecting Gotham. So yeah. Um, you know, what I really liked about this movie, it's that it brings a new. It basically featured superheroes in a new light when you think about it back in '89. Because back then the comic book community and the people who actually bought comics, they um people's reaction and attitude towards comics before this movie actually came out wasn't too positive. But after the movie came out, many people started to embrace comics, enjoy comics for what they really are, which I really like that, especially me considering I actually do also read comics. Um, so yeah. Now the acting for the most part is phenomenal in my opinion. It's pretty great. It's decent. Not decent. Decent's an understatement. It's great, amazing, fantastic, and I love it. Love it. The writing also for this movie is pretty well done in my opinion. The writer, I don't know who he is. I have IMDb here open up. Um, for a story. Sam Ham, I believe is the guy's name. Yeah, Sam Ham. There's two other guys here. But forget that. The people who worked on this to actually write this, they did a pretty great job in my opinion in actually writing this. And I do think there are a few lines over here and there that could have been better, but for the most part, most of the lines here are memorable. And when you think about it, they're like they're pretty well-known lines that you could say and you could actually quote. Um, so yeah, when you when you have a lines, many lines in a movie you could quote, you did something right. Writing and dialogue wise, the acting, as I said before, is fantastic, is amazing. So I really do like that. The Joker being introduced as the first villain for the first Batman movie was kind of risky when you think about it, but I do think they aced it, and I do enjoy it. The plot and the direction, the director took, Tim Burton. He it was a pretty great direction. I'm not sure which Batman comic or story arc this is based off. I need to look into that, but it's pretty. But still, I do like the direction. I do like the the actual way it went. There were a few times though that they did like special effects, and that I do realize that the special effects back then are different from the special effects that we have today. But I do think that even from a standpoint from back in '89, I do think that special effects could have been improved. Like for example, if I was a kid back in '89 and I saw the special effects, I still do think they could have been improved because I do think that back in '89 they still had a bit more better special effects than they had here. But really, in my opinion, that's just nitpicking. It's just a small little detail that that bothers me. So yeah, there are also a few things over here and there that do kind of throw me off, or throw off the pace usually. In my opinion, not my opinion. Um, what that came out wrong though. Let me rephrase. There are a few scenes that kind of threw me off every here and there because they threw off the pace or whatever. And from what I counted, there's at least six scenes that kind of had kind of threw off the pace a little bit. And again, that's just a small little detail that that I just don't like. But and I do have to factor in those small little details when I have to put in the rate. I mean, everything else for this movie was amazingly well done, and I do like what happened, after the events of this movie, such as Batman Returns, which is a sequel, and the overall acceptance of the comic book community. So yeah, I do know that back then many people doubted Michael Keaton's skills to portray Batman, but in my opinion, he did a pretty great job in portraying Batman. Even though the Nolan trilogy is always gonna be my Batman trilogy, I still, I still love this movie and Batman Returns. Batman Forever, that one's okay, and Batman and Robin sucked, you know. But the first two movies of the first two movies of Batman series of the original Batman series were phenomenal, And this one really started it all, because after that, you had the other superhero movies. I think Superman came out also around the same time as this, maybe before. But I don't know about that one. But you had a bunch of other things that kind of came out after the events of Batman, and a bunch of things happened, and it was fantastic overall. So yeah, that's basically it for my portion of the review. Except for the rate on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and 6 being decent. I give this an 8.75. I mean, there are a few details that that kind of bother me, but again, those are just a few details, nothing really major. So yeah, 8.75 I think is a reasonable rate for this movie. And I really like this movie. Despite the fact that the Nolan trilogy will always be my Batman series, but I still this started it all, and I still love it. So yeah, it's a great movie. So yeah, that's basically it for now. Again, Justin watches movies. Thanks for letting me do this collaboration video with you. Really appreciate it. And yeah, subscribe to my channel. I assume there's gonna be a link down below. Hopefully. So yeah. And again, Justin, thanks. Also subscribe to Justin watches movies channel, or Justin's channel, whatever. That came out wrong, but you know what I mean. Subscribe to him if you're not subscribed already, and subscribe to me if you're not subscribed already. Really appreciate it. Comment down below on your thoughts on the Batman movie. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What are your thoughts on it? And yeah, that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart, signing off, and thank you, Justin.
So if I had to give Batman a score, I would probably give it a B minus. So Daniel Mart, what were your thoughts on Batman? And thank you once again for joining me on Justin Watches Movies channel on the 25th anniversary of Batman, starring Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. And what were your thoughts on Batman?